We are sure today's session will provide practical insights and real-world learning for all of us. With great honor and pleasure, I now invite Mr. Prashant Chandra to take over the session and enlighten us with his valuable thoughts and experiences. So,
good morning, everyone. Is it a good morning? Does it sound so? Let's have a very good morning. Good morning?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So, why are we here today, right? So, this is a very interesting opportunity given to me. Thanks to all the faculty members who provided me this opportunity. I'll tell you my, takeaway from this discussion. If I could instill or if I could inspire one person in this room to kind of take up a startup or do something in the startup, I would achieve my goal of coming here all the way. So that is my objective here. And apart from that, I have one request to you. So I want to keep this discussion very informal because I'm fed up with a lot of corporate discussions where every face is like gone. But I see you as a students who have all the energy. Do you have energy? Yeah? Okay, good. So I need you to kind of be active in the discussion, what we are going to do. And also, I want you to actively participate by asking questions back to me. Yeah? Is that okay with all of you? Yeah? No? Not applicable? Okay. That is one thing. And I have another request to you. You will only address me as Prashant. You will not call me sir. You will not call me any other name. Just call me Prashant. Is that okay with you all? Yeah? Okay, that makes sense. Can we have the slide, please? Okay. So please take a moment and look at the slide. We'll talk about it later, but just take a look. Try to observe it. Okay, just remember this slide for some time. We'll talk about it after some time. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is our topic, right? The topic for today is effective sales and marketing strategies for startup. So when we say effective, strategies for the startup, before that I need to give a little context. What is a startup? And then we'll talk about it, what sort of products or services you would kind of create. And then we will talk about the main topic, that is how to sell and how to market it. So that is how we are going to progress in this discussion today. And towards the end, I will kind of talk about some of the tips and tricks which you can use it if you are, kind of taking up a startup. Or okay, let me ask you this question: do you have anybody in this room who already have some sort of a exposure to startup? Please raise your hand. Yeah, that's good. Can you tell me what sort of experience you have or what you have to do with the startup? Come on.
So I have been building websites for the website for their clinics, what we say, they can just like a marketing for them. They can have QR code of their websites and have many people can that visit their site and see what are the services that that clinic is providing. So they are paying 15,000 for one website and all.
Okay, that's great. That's good. So, sorry, I forgot to ask your name.
Prajwal.
Prajwal. So Prajwal has a kind of a startup in which he builds websites for the doctors, if I'm correct, and which will show what are all the services they offer and what are all the benefits you are going to company so and so, right? That's good. So he's building a website for this one. So let's start. What do you mean by startup first of all? Is there any classic definition? No, I'm not going to give you any definition. I told you I'm going to keep it very informal. So I need you to kind of participate in this discussion. Just think what could be a startup. Anybody want to take a chance? I told you I need you to be very interactive. Anyone?
You can just be very informal as sir has said. Just put in your ideas.
Yeah, there is no right or wrong answer as ma'am said, right? So you can just voice your opinion, whatever it could be. It could be right, it could be wrong, don't worry. That's how the discussion goes, right? You are not here just to sit and listen to the pravachan, right? So I need you to kind of talk and participate in the discussion. Let me see at least one person who is talking about what is their opinions. Prajwal, you want to take a stab? I'm just picking Prajwal because nobody else has come forward so far.
mature more, and like we'll be having our industry experience based on our thing, like not by working by someone else and having some pressure of failing. Like if I fail also it's for me, I fail because of my list. And if I work for someone else, if I fail also, they may question us, you did something wrong. But if I fail, it's on me, right? So.
Good. Thanks for that. So, I'll not give you the definition, but let us talk something about the startup. Like, if you just go back to the prehistoric age, when people were living in caves and all, do you think the startup existed? Yes, no, not applicable. We are only talking about startup now, right? If I just take you to the Mesolithic age or Stone Age, do you think the startup ever existed then? What do you think? No? Yes? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. So can anybody give me an example, or should I go ahead and explain why did I say that the startup existed then also? Do you have any thought that you want to share, or you want me to share? Okay, in the best interest of the time, I will only share. Okay, so think of the situation. There was a person who is very good with the hunting skills, right? So this guy always went and kind of always hunt a big animal, and he always brought the good meat to his people, right? So after some time, he realized that he is very good in it. But he also noticed that his people, some of the people could not hunt, right? But they have to survive by obviously eating the meat or whatever the food thing, right? So what did he do? Like when he hunt a big animal, he can't finish all of that meat by himself, right? So what did he do? He saved some for his next day. But then he thought, I still left with a lot of food with me. Let me start selling it. How did I sell? He sold it, saying that I will give you the food now, but you have to pay me back by doing something for me. It could be anything. Maybe like, you bring some water to me, or you take care of my kids, whatever it is. Right? So that's how the job started. Agree? I know it is not a very good example, but try to think and try to be creative with that. Right? So in this way, a job started. Right? Where the people would work for him and their food needs are taken care. Right? So now the advantage is the guys who are working for him need not to go for the hunting every day. kill something, or maybe like they can't run, or maybe they are not strong enough, whatever it is. But the guy who was hunting, he kept on doing it, and he recruited more people to do that for him. Right? So that is how he grew his organization. Do you think this is a startup? Yes? No? Yes? Right. So basically, what did the startup do? Startup solved a problem. That's all it is. Did he think that he will make money, or he will kind of build a big royal palace or anything like that? He just solved the problem. He added a value to the society. The same way, when you create something or when you start offering some services, you need to create a value such that people are ready to pay from their pocket. It could be anything. Let's take Prajwal's example. He's building a website, right? So now, the person who wants a website to be hosted, what will he do? He can't sit and learn the coding all by himself. He will look for a person who can do this for him on his specification, right? Not on the specification of Prajwal who is developing. This is nothing but startup. Agree? Disagree? I think morning is over. Guys, I need you to be kind of pepped up. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, hold on, come back, please. So there is a classic, shloka, the Bhagavad Gita, which says Karmanya Vadikaraste. Obviously, you know the rest of the things. What it says is focus on the controllable actions, not noisy outcomes. So what does that mean? When you say controllables, that is something that you can work on it. You cannot solve all the problem in the world all by yourself. You can only do so much what you can about it. And don't focus on the noisy outcome. Means there are so many people doing so many ways, so many things. But you should not get lost in all of that. Try to do this thing what you are capable of doing. Okay? So that is what the starting point. And basically, we are kind of trying to enable participants to think ethical. Let's talk about it. Ethical, efficient, and repeatable sales and marketing system. Let's talk ethical. What do you mean by ethical? In the startup, what is ethics? How many of you seen a jam ad in which no tomato is there, but still they claim that this is a tomato jam? Agree? And you say, or you have seen certain energy drinks which doesn't have any protein, in that, but still they claim it as protein drinks. Agree? The same way, people can sell anything. I will give you one example. In 1950, there was a person in America who created something called as pet rocks. Have you heard about pet rocks? Am I clear in my voice? It's a rock which is pet. What did he do? He just took the ordinary rocks from the river and he painted face on that and he put it in a nice cover, a box, and he sold it saying that this is your pet. What is the advantage of this pet? This pet doesn't ask for food. This pet doesn't ask you to take it around. This pet does nothing. Are you surprised? Then why did people buy it? And people bought it and they made him a millionaire. Now if you give a moment to understand why did somebody bought a pet rock which is so stupid, right? Isn't it? You think it's a smart decision to buy a rock? No, right? Then why did the people buy it? Any guesses? Would you buy a rock as your pet? No, right? But why did these people buy? Mainly because people have anxiety problems. People have a whole lot of issues. They want some partner, right? Who will just listen to them but not react. Listen to them, whatever they say, but don't react. That's all they wanted. So they kept a name for it. They called it Tom, whatever name they wanted to call. They said, I will pet you and I will give you food. Whatever, they pretend, like, in childhood you did all this, right? You took a doll and you tried feeding it, you made an eyebrow, hair, whatever things, right? It's the same thing. What I'm trying to convey here is, you can sell anything. If you have a smart mind, you can sell anything. In Tulu, I hope some of you know Tulu. Yeah? There is a proverb in Tulu which a fisherwoman says, "Enna mage usharintunda, kaadidu podla meen pathodu varate." You understand? Some of you understand what I said? Right? If my son has a good gift of gab, then he can go to forest and catch the fish. So what that's supposed to mean? So that means if you have skills in you, if you have a good communication, you can sell anything. That was an example of having a pet rock. Somebody sold pet rock. Right? Do you think that was an old time, like, people were crazy and, stupid and all that? No, it happened recently. There was a doll. What is that doll called? Some Labubu doll, right? Do you think it is worth to buy a Labubu doll for $300? And that too, like, it is not available. People kind of went all the way, bought it by paying extra. Just a dummy, a doll which is so ugly that I can't even look at it. So, what is the point in this? The point here is you can sell anything. Only thing is you have to create a need for it. So let's see how to do that. Can we go to the next slide? Yeah. So first and foremost, this is something many people use, and this is some of the classic example how to identify a problem. Right? So this is called as 5 W's and 1 H. Let's talk what is 5W and 1H very quickly, because I'm not going to explain the whole concept in this session because I'm running out of time in that. So basically you will look for who, what, when, where, why, and the last is how. This is how you identify a problem. If you are planning to start a startup, you start with this method. What am I going to start? And why am I doing it? Okay? Why am I doing it is very important. Is it because I want to be cool in the college? Calling myself as founder or co-founders and whole lot of things. Man knows, this is how people want to be associated with startup. Or why am I doing it? Right? And after finding out what am I doing and why am I doing, next question comes is where am I doing it? Is it, am I going to a physical location? Is it going to be on, online? How am I going to do it, right? So that is the why part, where part of it. Where am I going to do it? So then comes your when am I going to do it? Is it now? Or is it like after the semester? Or after a year? After you cross 48? Whatever. Doesn't matter, right? So those are all the questions you need to answer before you start doing 1H, that is how. And to be very honest, how part is something is not very important. Why? Because You will figure out later on. But if you don't know these 5 W's, your start itself is wrong. It is like, I have started, but I don't know where am I going. Again, I'll take a proverb from Tulu, if you know. Yenko Panampur Koile. You know, right? How many of you don't know this proverb? Please raise your hand. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, for the benefit of you, there was a person called Yanko, and his master told him that tomorrow you have to go to Panampur, right? So be ready. So this guy, to impress his master, he woke up in the middle of the night, he went to Panampur and he came back. And in the morning he told his master, I already did your work. Then he asked, why did you go? He had no clue, right? So likewise, we need to know why we are doing it. What is the purpose of it? What is the objective I'm going to get out of this? Right? Let's go to the next slide, please. So, every adversity comes with an opportunity. How many of you believe this, that adversity brings you an opportunity? Can you give an example? Yeah, go ahead, please.
If you don't give up, I think you will find more opportunities in data communication.
That's great. That's great. So adversity is something that a calamity happened, something unnatural thing happened, or something beyond your control. Something has happened. Now, can you find an opportunity? Right. That's the question. How many of you heard about COVID? Stupid question, right? Right? So after the COVID, everybody's life has changed, right? So till then, college means only going to the location. Till then, nobody bothered about online classes, online tutorials, online meetings, nothing. Suddenly, a new edtech company started coming in the name of Baiju, whatever the names, and everybody started learning online. They no longer even go to college. Right? So that is your adversity bringing you an opportunity. I can give you many examples, but that's not the point. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, if there is a problem, a pessimist will always see that, oh, I have a problem. What do I do now? Right? An optimist will always see what? An opportunity. What can I get from it? How can I make the things better? That is where your great idea of startup lies. Right? I will give you another example. So there was this guy called Sundarlal Goenka and his son Ash Goenka. So this has happened in 1986 when Sundarlal Goenka was a textile merchant who was finding it very difficult to maintain his accounts and all that. So he asked his son, can you do something about it? Right? Because they were going under loss and they could not track anything. So what did they do? They created a small software using DBase. First, let me ask you, how many of you heard this name called DBase? No? Nobody? Because it is very old. Maybe some of you were not even born at that point of time. So DBase is a database management system in which you could write basic programs and you can run it. Okay? So this guy created that program and it went on solving their problem. And some of the people came to them and said, why don't you give me a copy of that so that my business also will take care of it. Do you know what is that company now called? It's called Tally. How many of you heard a software called Tally? Great. So, at least one person heard Tally, that's good. See, you are from science background, that doesn't mean that you should not learn about commerce or arts, okay? So you should keep an eye on everything, okay? Okay, anyway, the point what I was trying to make was, you can look an opportunity in a worst possible situation. Forget that, okay? So now think of a situation. Imagine there is a Kamla going on. Okay, you know Kamla, right? Right? So when you go to the Kamla, you will see a lot of people sitting there and watching the buffalo races. So one smart guy thought, everybody is here, but there is no water for everybody. Or there is no ice candy for them. Or there is no charmuri for them. So all he did is, he brought some of the minor things, he started one stall there. Do you think it's a good idea to start something like that? Anyway, he has to watch the Kamla. During that, he can also make money. The same way, you need to look opportunity in every possible way, wherever it is applicable. Let's say you are sitting in city bus, and you notice that people are waiting, they don't know when the bus is coming. Is it ever happened that you are supposed to go to college and you are waiting for a city bus? You don't know when it is coming. It will come whenever it is supposed to come, right? But it doesn't come on a time because we all believe in something called as IST. What is IST? Sorry? Indian Standard Time. No, it's not Indian Standard Time. It is called Indian Stretchable Time. That means I can come whenever I want. I will start now, but I don't know when I will come. Imagine if you could create an application that in real time it shows where my city bus is. Do you think this is an opportunity? Right? Especially for Bangalore, where in every possible corner the city buses goes. So you can find opportunities in every problem. Let's go to the next slide, please. So let's see, this is where the core discussion, what we are going to have today. How to build brands. What is brand according to you? Can you name any brands at least? Let's see if you have noticed it. Sorry? The one best brands you remember. Say it loud, please. Okay, let me ask you in another way. How many of you heard this song? Tandurusti ki raksha karta hai life boy. Have you ever heard this song? Yes? Yes. What is that? That is nothing but brand. See, without any background, you remember what product I am talking to you, right? That is how branding is nothing but a perception of having its own value. Now let me ask you this. What would be the worth of a company called Coca-Cola? Some number, I know, you don't have to be very precise. Some number if you can throw. Billions? So what do they sell? Do they sell software? No, right? They just sell a sugary water. Am I correct? Why do you think a billions of dollars being valued for that company? Because they have created a perception that in order to look cool or in order to feel I am the most happening guy around, I have to drink Coca-Cola. That means Thanda matlab Coca-Cola. I don't know if this generation remembers that tagline, but anyway. So basically they have associated happiness to their brand. If you see in their ads, they don't sell sugar water or they don't say that we are selling cola. They say spreading happiness. So what did they do? They have created an emotion and associated that with their product. Agree? The same way, when you want to create your own startup, you would want to name that company or a product name which resonates that perception. It is something like this. I mean, a parent, they have a kid. What do they name? Do they name something like random name or some number? No, right? They would choose a very, very beautiful name, which might come from some Sanskrit shloka or some Greek mythology, I don't know what. Why do they do that? First and foremost, it should be unique. Whenever you call that name, you should feel that, yeah, this is my son or my daughter. That happiness should come within me. And second thing, no matter how that kid looks, at the end of the day, this is the most beautiful baby ever lived on the earth. Agree? Likewise, when you start a startup, it may not be a great thing, but for you, it is the greatest thing ever. Right? So that is the brand you will place it. What do you do after branding that company or product or whatever the service? What do you do next? You will go and talk about it to everybody. Right? In your kid case also it is the same thing. You tried meeting some of the young parents, new parents rather. They only talk about their kids. My kid did that, my baby did that, all that story. Maybe sometimes you will feel, oh, how much I will listen to it. Right? But then, that is their passion towards that baby. The same way, when you associate passion with the brand, this is how we are going to use it. Right? Just check the last one like that. A brand lives in the customer's mind. Positioning decides where. The positioning means where do you keep it. Some of you have seen that the brand lies here on the chest. And everybody proudly wears it. Nike, Prada, whatever it is. Correct? Do you think the cloth from which it is made is any different from the cloth you would buy in a normal shop? Same, right? Little difference would be there here and there. But then the point here is you associate that brand with your pride. I'm wearing Gucci. Or whatever that means. Right? So that is how you perceive that branding. Let's go to the next slide, please. So let's talk about BMC. BMC is a template or a method through which you plan your startup. I don't want to go into the lot of the depth of it because this itself is a huge topic, maybe some other day or some other time. If we get a chance, then we'll talk about it. But this is the way you add all the aspects related to the startup. For example, you talk about the problem, you talk about the solution, what you're going to provide, the unique value proposition, or it is called as USP, unique selling point. So what's so special about it? So that part you have to write down, and then you have fair advantages or unfair advantages, right? For example, you are the only person who is doing it. That's your unfair advantage. Or there is only 2 people in the world who can do this. So that is your special advantage, right? And then you have customer segments. So whenever you build a product, you have to find a niche or a customer segment. Customer segment in the sense to whom you are selling. You can't say that I'm selling it to everybody. What you can sell it to everybody? If it is air, if it is water, you can sell it to everybody. All the 5 elements, you can sell it to everybody in this room. But other than that, Everything has to be sold to certain section of the people. Maybe some people will like it, some people will say this is nonsense, somebody will say I will not pay for it, whatever. But there will always be some segment which will say I will pay for it. Right? I'll give you one example. Have you ever thought a cow dung could be sold online? Is it a reality or am I bluffing? It's reality, right? These days you can buy cow dung online. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. You may not have a use for that cow dung, but there are people who are, willing to pay money for that. So then comes your key metrics. This is very, very important. A metric is something that you measure. Right? For example, if I want to measure a height, what do? I use meter or centimeter or millimeter. So that's a way I know what is this and how big it is or how small it is or how wide it is, whatever. So that way, if you don't measure your progress, then you are not progressing. For example, you write your exams, you get your marks. That is the way you will measure that you are progressing or you are not progressing, right? So that is nothing but your metrics. Then you have high level constant. Okay, this is very, very important. When you start something, you always start at the high level. For example, I will build a flyover from Nantur to Kepidi. How I will build it, I don't know. But I have a thought, a very high level concept. I really don't know how much cement is required or what are the problems are there. But I know that there is a problem, I want to solve it. How do I solve it? By building a flyover from here to there. Right? So once you know what you want to do, if you go back to our 5 Ws, now you need to figure out only how to do it. That's all. It is so simple. Agree or disagree? No, right? Because there is a proverb says, God lies in the detail. Where do God live? God lives in tiniest of tiny atoms. Correct? So that details where the whole thing changes. When you start a project like that, you will come to know, oh, I don't have budget for it. Or I don't have a land for it. Right? I hope you can figure out where I'm going. Early adopters. Now imagine, let's say some of you have built a cake making startup. Let's assume. Okay? Why did you start that cake making startup? Because you love making cakes. That's the only reason you started startup. Now what do? You made a cake. There are 10 cakes, different flavors. What do you do next? You go and start selling it? No, right? What is the first thing you will do? You will take it to your neighbor or you will take it to your friend. You offer them a piece. Why you are offering that? So that you can get some feedback and also you will get some goodwill from them. Saying that this guy will go and tell 10 different people and a word of mouth is spread. Agree? So these early adopters are the people who are your ambassadors, who will go and advertise for you saying that, oh, this girl has done a great cake, you should try it. Or they will say that, this is so nice that I never ate cake like that. Maybe they will exaggerate also. Maybe they will say that, if you eat this, your skin will start glowing. Whatever. I know, too much. The cost structure and revenue streams. You need to identify how am I going to make money. In your case, you are making money, you are very clear that I am going to make the websites, I am going to get money from that. But now you need to think what are the other things I can do Now think of this situation. Earlier, during before the COVID rather, many people were depending on one income. Correct? They were thinking that, I'm happy, my job is secured and all that. They suddenly realized that my job itself is, locked. Now what do? I need to find some other ways to survive if this doesn't work. So that is the time when the entire India got changed. Right? You need to figure out the different revenue streams. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so now coming to the core topic. So all this time we were only building the context. So now we are going to talk about the main topic. Sales is where you call the prospect, while marketing is where the prospect calls you. So let's talk a little about what is sales versus what is marketing. And also we will talk about what is advertising. Okay? Now let's start with sales first. How many of you ever tried sales? Have you ever tried sales yourself? In any form. It need not be in startup. Think about it. Think of a situation when you are a small baby, you cried and your mother fed the milk. Don't you think this is the same? You cried, saying that I'm hungry. Then you are fed milk. Likewise, when you go to the interviews, what are you doing? You will say, no, I'm good in this, I know C, I know D, E, F, everything. That is nothing but say. And your resume says 100 different things. I can do long jump, high jump, every jump possible. That is nothing but sales. Correct? Now let's see what is marketing. Marketing is something people know that you are doing long jump, high jump and all that. They will come and ask you, can you do this for me? Correct? If you see TV ads and all that, you see lot of information coming to you. But when is that you will go back and ask for that? Very few, right? Now think of this situation. How many times you got call from the telecallers saying that do you want loan or do you want that service, do you want this service? That is sales for you. They are doing sales. Then there are times when you go to the bank and say I need home loan or I need that loan, this loan, right? That is a marketing loan. Agree, disagree? Yeah? So let's see little further now. Next quote is, sell the problem you solve, not the product. How many of you use Instagram, Facebook and whole lot of Sastagrams? You use, right? Do you pay anything for that? Why do you think you got that as free? Sorry? Because you are the product. They are giving it free to you, right? Then there has to be some catch. What is the catch? Your data. They know exactly what you are going to buy, when you are going to buy, and they are going to influence you to buy something without your knowledge. Have you ever noticed one thing, like you are talking about some nice restaurant with your friends and all, and suddenly you open Instagram and you see restaurant ads are coming. How did that happen? Any guesses? Are they like Antaryamis? They're sitting here and they found out, okay, in Valachil there is one girl sitting and thinking about a nice dress. Did that happen? Alright. So how did that happen? You will be surprised to know your phone is listening to you all the time. Right? So the point I'm trying to make here is sell the problem you solve, not the product. So what problem you are solving, right? That should be the focus when you build a startup, not the product itself. Nobody is going to buy you the product just because it is cool. It should solve a problem. Only then people will come forward and they will pay for it. Yeah. Let's move on. Okay, let's come back. Sorry. Yeah. So I want to tell you a story here. Right? So what's the story? So when you think that you are going to build a startup, maybe you are not aware that you are building a startup. It is quite possible. It is not that consciously you wanted to build something, but it got built and people started paying for it. Have you ever come across any examples of such story somewhere or some company which started because they started doing it and suddenly people started coming to pay for it? Any examples you have come across? Sorry? What is that? Flag.
It's an app for managing the people.
No. See, first of all, come out of this app thing, okay? App is not the word. There are many things you can do without the apps also. So don't always think through the apps and technology. Come out of that. Try thinking a problem, a solution. If it involves technology, that is good, but that doesn't mean that you have to involve technology. Let's think about a situation where you notice something around yourself. The reason I'm stopping here because I want you to think beyond your textbooks, beyond the technology, beyond all these definitions. I want you to be observant. Take a moment. Have you noticed some of the laborers come from different districts to Mangalore to work here? Yeah? You have noticed? So, have you noticed when they travel, they carry this huge stack of rotis, jodad roti or whatever they call, right? It's all dry rotis, correct? And they carry around wherever they go because they don't have time to prepare the food. So this is there, they just sprinkle water on it, they will add some, whatever the food and they will start eating it. Right? This is a problem. The problem here is the laborers can't spend time on cooking. So what did they do? They just converted their rotis into dry rotis. Correct? Now, where is the opportunity here? Sorry? See, when the labor camps are around, right? So, one of the guys said, I am not going to work on the labor today. Rather, I will sit here and make rotis only. Or chapatis, whatever it is. Right? So they just diverted their focus there. They said, I'm going to sell you the rotis. You pay me some nominal money. Entire day I will make this roti and I will sell it to you. Do you think this is a startup? And do you think it can scale to a bigger level? Yes? Now they might be doing with the hand. Tomorrow they will bring This is how you identify the problem and create a startup with a longer vision. Why longer vision? They are not happy just by serving 10 people. They would want to multiply that 10 times, 15 times, 100 times, whatever it is. And that is how most of the companies are started. You take any example, because I don't want to go on giving you a lot of examples. I want you to observe it yourself. Try finding out whatever the companies, how did it started? Why it was started? Who started it? And how did they grow over the year? Correct? I'm sure you have heard about this Narayan Murthy story. They started with the 10,000 rupees with the gold pawn from his wife and all that. But have you seen like how did they progress after that? And do you think these days you can just go and pawn your gold for 10,000 rupees and start something? No? You think it's not possible with 10,000 rupees? It's not about the money, it's about the mindset with which you start. You can start with even 10 rupees also. So the story time. So there was a guy, right? So he had nothing. He was just sitting and he was kind of thinking, what do I do tomorrow to earn money? And he saw a person who hit the mouse and he threw it on the road. Right? And he saw, what is this? Why are you throwing it on the road? So he brought it and kept it on the side. So meanwhile, one person came with a scan and he said, can you sell this mouse to me, dead mouse to me? I will pay you 10 rupees. Do you think he will do? Definitely, right? He said, yeah, take it. So he got 10 rupees without doing anything. This is not a joke, right? Or this is not a trick here. What I'm trying to tell you is he found an opportunity there. And what did he do with 10 rupees? I'm assuming that you know the story, like how it went. That 10 rupees he took and he bought some fruits and he started selling. After some time he became a vendor. The story goes. The point is not that I'm trying to tell you a story there. The point I'm trying to tell you is how can you even start with nothing? Just with the vision, you have to think progressively to start something. Ma'am was asking me earlier that what can we do in our college so that a startup type of mindset grows, right? For that to do, first and foremost, you should think like a founder. That's the first thing you have to do. Second thing, you take every opportunity possible to start something. For example, you have your college projects, right? And do you think that you learn this prime number generation, then what sort of prime number, reverse order, palindrome, so many programs you have learned, right? Do you think when you go to the corporate, they'll ask you, hey, come on, sit and write prime number generation? Or, write a bubble sort? What do they tell you to do? Are you ready for that? Whatever they're going to tell you. So then why are you learning this bubble sort, prime number generation? Sorry? First and foremost is you need to learn the concepts only. But where will you apply the concepts? Like how we were talking, you need to take up each college project as your startup story. You create something. It could be very small. It could be something like, I will press this button, my bathroom door will open. It could be as simple as that. But you are creating something on your own. That is the mindset you need to build. It's very easy to copy some from the senior or some from internet, mix and match, do charmuri and put it in cover and present it to ma'am. Ma'am, here is my charmuri. Right? Rather, take a very small project and start taking the entire SDLC or the software development life cycle. How can I implement this in a very short span of time? Okay? How many of you heard something called as agile methodology? You heard about it? Agile methodology? I think I'm not getting enough responses. Either it is kind of going above, I don't know, maybe in right? Never heard about agile methodology? Yes? Good. So you need to understand how agile methodology can be applied to your own project. Okay, probably that's a separate topic altogether. Maybe if I get an opportunity, I will explain you how agile methodology can help you. But the point I'm trying to tell you is take each and every small projects as serious as possible. Okay? Let's move on, please. Yeah, move on. Yeah. So when you go to the market, let's assume that you have built something now. Okay, now you are in the market to sell it. How can you sell it? You can't go on like take this app, like how you sell vegetables, right? You have to have some method. And unlike in olden days, these days you have a lot of different technology enabled for it. You have Play Stores, App Stores, whatnot, right? If you are talking about the apps. But I'm not only restricting you to think only about app. Now think about how can I market it, right? So you need to apply these three filters. First is customer who has the pain and authority to pay. So you need to find a person who has a problem and who is willing to pay for it, for the solution. Now imagine when you kind of go to the market, let's assume a vendor is selling a balloon. Who will he sell it for? Will he sell it to you and me? Obviously not, right? Because we are too old for those balloons. He will target the kids. He will come and give it to the kids saying that take it. What do you think will happen now? Now kid will take it and he will look towards, can I? Now who is the authority? Kid. Am I saying correct? So now you have identified the authority and he is the main customer. Whether he is paying for it? No. But he has all the power to make others to pay for it. Correct? The second filter is cost of pay. What happens if they don't solve it? Now think of this. If the balloon was not bought for this kid, what could have gone wrong? I can see some smiles on some faces. Probably they have already gone through it. Right? For those people who don't know what I'm referring to, their life will be miserable today if you don't buy that balloon to that kid. This entire street, this kid will make a mess. Till you go home, that kid will embarrass you that you want to go like this now. That is the cost of the pay. And customer behavior, where are they doing today? What are they doing today? If they are not buying from you, what are they buying? They have to buy something, right? It could be anything. It could be a nice dress. If they are not buying from you, they will buy from somewhere else. But who are your competitor? What are they selling which you are not selling? Or what is that they are attracted towards which I am not making? So these are the 3 points with which you should know your market. Does that make sense? Yes, no, not applicable? Yeah, and there is a red flag. When you create your startup, right, like, you ask any founders, what are you building? I am building for the world. Have you heard this kind of statements anywhere? What are you building? I am building for everybody. I am building something that everybody will buy. I told you the 5 elements, right? If it is air, everybody needs it. Can anybody survive without air? No, right? Can anybody survive without water? No, right? The same way, if you are not building any of these 5 elements, then whatever you build, it has to be built for somebody only. It may sound like, I'm selling it to everybody, but you are not selling it to everybody. And some people have this attitude, like, I will show the product and people will come running. How many of you have noticed it? I will build something, right? The moment I build it, people will come running and they will stand in a queue and they will start buying. Do you think ever it is going to happen? Alright. So you have to create that need. Saying that this is something you need it. Some people may disagree. They say, no, I'll go to the next shop which is giving me cheaper there. Or another guy will say that, I have seen a better product there from America. Right? All those things will come. But the point here is, you need to find out and forget that they will understand once they see the product. It is not going to happen. So your thinking should be that I am going to explain it to the people. I am going to convince people that this is best for you. Okay? Okay, I had planned certain exercise, but I don't think I can do that today because there are too many things I want to cover in 1 hour. Let's go on, please. So, these are all the certain formulas through which you will create demands. We spoke like, we have to create demand. So, these are all the ways through which you can create it. These are some of the formulas which you can apply. Some of the things, like you can use social media to create the need. Right? We spoke about the Instagram and all that stuff earlier. Likewise, you can create a need by using the free social media. What is social media? You know, right? Do you think it is any useful other than sending the forward messages? You can do other things also, right? So there was this concept, no? You send it to 3 people and 3 people will send it to 3 people, 3 people will send it to, it goes forever. You can use these concepts. Again, you need to be creative here. You need to kind of think out of the box. How can I spread my message without spending money? I'm not saying don't spend the money, but spend it wisely. Right? How can you do that? Now let's assume I'm starting a startup today and I want to market it. I am only the one person. It's like called solopreneur. Unlike your entrepreneur, solopreneur is only one person, one man army. Right? He is the coder, he is the developer, he is the tester, everybody. Now, if I am the solopreneur, how do you think I can do this with no cost? I will just put a t-shirt written on it. This is what I sell. If you want, come to me. And I will go around Katripalli. Or wherever you want to go. Okay, if you don't like Katripalli. So basically, you can still make an impact. That's the point. And how many of you understand what is B2B and B2C means? Can I see a raise of hand? No?
Business to business, B2C is business to customer.
Yeah. Good. So that's the business to business, business to customer. Why do you think we have this classification? Why do we need? Like I'm building business, right? Why should I classify as I am B2B or B2C? You remember the segments we spoke earlier? I am making something which I am not going to sell it to the retail customers, rather I will sell it to the companies only. That is the only thing I will do. I don't want to kind of go and sell it to each individual, rather I will sell it to another company, in turn they will go and sell it to everybody. That is B2B. And B2C is, I am directly selling to the individuals. So, which is better according to you? Sorry? B2C? Yeah. So that's an opinion that B2C is good. Why do you say that B2C is good? Directly you will get money. Sorry? Yeah, profit. That's also a good point. So the point here is, it has its own pains also. How many times you have seen that one person will directly go to that shop and buy that particular product only? I mean, how many times it happens? Very rarely, right? Unless until it is that good product. You will not look any here and there. You will just go, buy it and come back. But then there is some other behaviors also. Right? If it is a guy, if they have to buy a shirt, the time taken to buy a shirt is hardly 10 minutes. Sorry, I'm biased. So you go to the shop, you see that color, give that color, take it, pay, and come home. Now let's take the other side of it. What do you think can happen? You go there, can you show the same thing in that color? Can you show this color in that pattern? By the time they finish, it will be like midnight. Right? So the B2C is very, very difficult over here compared to here. And apart from that, there is nothing called as loyalty from the client. The reason is, I have a lot of choices. Why should I just stick to you? I have not written any agreement with you that I will only buy with you, right? So there is nothing called as brand loyalty. Whenever I find my wish, I will buy. If I feel like not buying, I will not buy. But if you go to the B2B, then once you set that supply chain, it is always there. Okay? So it again depends on the founder which way they want to go. But this is a direction in which you can think, should I sell it to the companies or should I sell it to the individuals? Let's go to the next slide. So this is called sales funnel, right? So basically in the sales funnel, when you want to sell, you kind of create a list of the things what you are going to do, right? From that, you will basically find out, you will create awareness, right? First, you will create awareness that this is my product, I will go on TV, I will go on social media, I will go on various mode to explain about my product. Then you do something called as engagement. What do you do engagement? After it is sold, you want to kind of create a connection with them. Right? What will happen if you don't create a connection? Maybe next time they won't come to you. Let me give one example only to you guys. How many of you heard Royal Enfield? Right? You like that bike? If you had a chance to buy a Royal Enfield bike, why would you buy that bike? There are better bikes than Royal Enfield, right? You guys know. But why would you still go and buy a Royal Enfield? Because it has a community. I've seen this like many times. Royal Enfield people, they put on this board and lot of baggage and they go all the way to Himalaya and they come back. What did they do there? Nothing. They just went and they came back. But that is the community with which most of the people want to be part of. Right? So now do you think next time if this person is buying another bike, what will they buy? Same Royal Enfield. Because you have built a customer loyalty because of the product. Because you have built a engagement with them so that you don't want to go to any other brand now. Right? Correct? Tell me, I mean, if I'm saying this correct or you think I'm just making it up? Okay. And then conversion. The conversion is the aspect where they actually sign or they will pay money for it. It is like, going to the shop, show me that, show me this, everything happened. Now the time of the moment, you decide, okay, this is the one I'm going to buy. And once you decide, you come to the counter and you pay for it. Only then the profit will come, right? Once you buy that. So that is the conversion. Let's go to the next slide. So we were talking about the metrics. Okay? So without the metrics, you cannot measure the success of your startup. And I have listed a couple of terminologies on that side. There is something called as CAC, LTV, TIP, conversion rate, bounce rate, CTR, CPC, CPL, engagement rate, email open rate, ROAS, cart abandonment. That's all, right? So where do you think you have heard all these terminologies? Have you ever heard these terminologies before? Not heard? How many of you watch Shark Tank? Yeah? You watch? Have you heard these terminologies there? They ask what is your CAC, what is the TAM, right? Have you ever thought what are they talking about? What is the terminology they are using? Like, if you come to the, technology side, you talk about polymorphism, inheritance, so many things, right? The same way they have a different lingo in their world. So you really need to understand all these terminologies so that you can get funding or a investor associated with your startup. I do not have time to explain you each of that aspect in detail. Let's move on. Yeah. So far we discussed that, how the sales has to be done, how the marketing can be done, what are all the ways through which you can do this, right? We discussed about different metrics to track them. We discussed how can you adopt different methods to sell more and make sure that your profitability is increased. And we spoke about sales funnel, right? Let's move on. So this is something called as pitch. What is pitch? I know, guys only know pitch, the ball pitch. That is not. The pitch is something that you are presenting your idea in front of somebody. Right? You do that in your college also. You present your projects, you present your ideas, you present some talks. That is nothing but pitching your ideas. Now the point I'm trying to make you here is how to present your idea in front of people, or what are all the aspects you should cover when you say that this is the idea I'm trying to propose. You have to have certain structure, right? You cannot just walk in and say that no, I want to build this. Right? In the earlier part, we discussed that there is a method called 5 Ws and 1 H. That is one tool through which you can chalk out your plan, and this is another way where you can present it. Some of the things you should have one slide at least. I mean, I'm not saying that you should use slide. If at all you are using, you talk through these points. You start with the problem statement. You say, what am I doing? Why am I doing it? Right? Then comes your solution. What is the solution you are proposing? For example, if I am saying that I am building a oil which will increase your hair growth, then you explain that, how this will increase, what is that you are proposing, how it has to be used. All that thing you have to explain. Then comes your positioning. So positioning is, you have to tell for which segment you are selling. So now if I am taking the hair oil example, do you think I can sell it to the kids? Why not? They don't need it. And who need it now? Hair oil. To an absolute bald person? No. And in between somewhere, right? The people who have some hair, who don't have some hair. Right? So that is the positioning you have to do. We spoke about called customer segmentation earlier and the market size. You really don't need to find a market size where it is big enough for you to grow there. What that's supposed to mean? Now let's assume I start a startup of a car making, which is kind of charged somewhere around 10 crores per car. And I'm selling it in this area. How many cars do you think I can sell? 0? I don't think so. At least somebody will have 10 crore, right? Maybe 1 or 2, maybe very limited number. What I'm trying to tell you is, you target a market size which is big enough for you. Right? Now there is, cars like BMW and all the luxury cars. Then there are cars like Maruti. Right? Maruti creates lakhs of cars in a year. Right? Their market size is so big that everybody will buy one or the other car. But if you go to the other side, very few people will buy a car. Like, maybe like one person out of 10,000. Or maybe a lakh, right? It depends on the segment in which you are positioning your product. So the point I'm trying to tell you is, you hit a tree which has a lot of mangoes, rather than hitting a tree with only one mango. Which is better? Hitting many mangoes, right? If you don't aim it well, somewhere it will hit something and you will get some mango. Right? That should be the idea. And business model clarity. So you should know in what way you are selling. There are so many startups which survives entirely online. They don't even have a physical location. They don't even have one table also. That works entirely online. Okay? Online. So when you think of online, you really need to see the future of it. I will give you one example here. How many of you heard a company called Zomato? Yeah? Do you know how it got started? The Goyal, the guy who started it, right? He was working in a normal corporate, just like us. And every day he had to go for his lunch. Since he was like a bachelor and all at that point of time, he did not bring the lunch box. So he had to survive on the nearby hotels to get the food. So, as a matter of fact, their office had brought certain menu from nearby hotels and they kept it in their cafeteria so that we can take a look at the menu and call them up and say that I want this, that, whatever, and they will bring it to this guy. And over the period, people were like, everybody wanted the menu, whatever was there. Because lunch break is at the same time, right? You all will come at the same time and you take that menu. Correct? So then what did he do? This guy took that menu items, menu things, and he scanned it. And he made a soft copy of it. And he put it in his Intra website. So that it becomes easy for him, so that he don't have to stand in a line to wait for that menu for him. So over the period, what happened? His colleagues started asking, can you show me that page for me also? Because I have to order food for myself. Then after some time he noticed that almost everybody in the company are accessing his intranet. Because everybody has to order food, right? Most of the people. So he noticed that everybody need an online solution. They don't want a physical copy of the menu. That is where he thought, let me put all the restaurant's menu online. But what is the money he is going to get out of it if he just put it as a web page? Nothing, right? You build a web page, people see, and that's it. Then he thought, I will give value addition to it. Now what is the value addition? They will order, my guy will bring and give it to you. You understand? This is how the Zomato delivery service got started. Now you see how it has exploded. It has become a multi-billion-dollar company, right? What I'm trying to tell you is, when you see a big market, you need to have that vision that, I'm going to capture this market. He could have just, being happy, he would have said, yeah, many people are visiting my website, they can view the hotel menus, I'm happy with that. But he thought the next step. That is what I want you to think. Don't just stop there thinking that I have done my job. Job is not done till the opera singer sings the song at the end. Right? Then the storytelling. If I tell you what is the best quality you should develop while being in college, also going out of the college, you should try to become a good storyteller. I mean, you might be wondering, what is this guy is talking about? Why should I become a storyteller? I am a developer, I am a tester, I am that, this. But if you cannot be good in explaining the things what you have done, if you do not have a gift of gab in explaining the things in a way it should be explained, then whatever the work you have done, it's of no use. Right? So try to develop a skill which is going to be very crucial in future called storytelling. Let's talk about it if we get some time. But this is one skill you need to develop being in college right now. How to become a good storyteller. How many of you consider yourself as a storyteller? Not a good storyteller, but good storyteller. Please raise your hand. You. Okay? That's good. Anybody else? No? You are not a good storyteller? So that means you never told to your teacher that, my homework ate my dog, or I was coming on the way. You never told these stories? You told? Then you are a storyteller. Right? You need to develop the skill because you have to explain the concept very clearly. Please note this point and try to do research on this point, how to become a good storyteller. And one more thing, be honest. Be honest in the sense, see, that's a trait, right? Your personality trait. But in startup, you need to be very honest with yourself. You can't bluff about yourself, to you at least, right? You have seen many businesses who claim big, tall things, but they never deliver. And those companies always fallen very badly, right? But if you are honest to admit, then you have a chance. How many of you heard a company called Byju's? Yeah, many of you? It was $1 billion valued company one time. Then what did happen? What went wrong in that? So the founder thought, I have billions of dollars with me, why can't I buy a great villa? Why can't I have a private jet? You understand? I'm not saying it is wrong, right? What I'm trying to tell you is you cannot lie to yourself or lie to the company where you're building your business. You have to be truthful about it. Team credibility. So you are only good as your team works with you. I mean, this is one more thing maybe your college can take a lead from it. Probably you should divide your class into different teams. Like probably in your school days you had this blue house, red house and all. The same way you divide your classes such a way that you have a team. And each team will work on single project. Right? One project, I don't know what you want to call that. But you give project to that team so that they will develop that team sense within them. When they go to corporate or when they are building a new startup or whatever, you know how to work with people. Right? This is a very, very important skill. You need to work with people. Can you work with animals? No, right? You are going to be working with people only. So you need to know how to manage the person, mood swings, everything. Because every sort of a person you will meet when you are working anywhere. You need to think in a different perspective in order to get your objective done. Okay? Financials, we spoke about the metrics and how to maintain your financials. You should know how much money is going, how much money is coming. If you don't know how much money you are spending, that means you are losing money. If I ask you how much money you have in your pocket exactly, will you be able to tell me now? We will check your pocket, right? So how many you think you know how much exact money you have in your pocket? How many are confident? Because I'm going to come and check you now. How about you, ma'am? You know exactly how much money you have in your pocket? First? So that means your financial is not up to date. Okay. The last is ask. When you go to an investor and you go to somebody to ask money for your startup, you should know what you are asking, how much you are asking, and you need to know how long you need it. Now imagine suddenly God comes in front of you and asks you, I will give you the boon. You ask what you want. What will you ask? Will you ask, I need 1 nail polish, 2 lipsticks? No, right? You really need to know what exactly you want. So that's how precise you need to ask the person who is going to fund you. They will ask you questions. You have seen that Shark Tank, right? What do they do there? They will ask you why you are valuing it so much. I will give you only this much. Or they will say, why you need so much money? Or what will I get in return? Correct? So those are all the exercises you need to understand if you want to grow your business to another level. Maybe you can get it started as a bootstrap. Bootstrap in the sense, from your pocket you are paying for everything. But if you want to go to a certain level, you obviously need other people so that you can grow. Okay? So this is one of the simple template. Probably I will share this slide with your faculties. So who will share with you all. I want you to go through this and fill it yourself. Imagine yourself as a founder now and start filling it out, thinking that tomorrow I'm going to start something. Whether you really start or not, it's up to you. But try this exercise just for the sake of, can I start something? Am I capable of starting something? right? Not everybody need to start anything, right? It's okay. If you don't want to start, that's absolutely fine. No issues in that. But at least for an exercise sake, please do this activity. Okay? Let's move on. And these are some of the books I recommend, which will help you to understand how to start something. I mean, you cannot get one book which gives you all the, what you call Brahma Gyan in that. Rather, you need to cherry pick from different things and use the way it works for you. You don't need to take this book as if this is the only Bhagavad Gita I will read. Rather, you pick and choose whatever works for you and create your own flavors. Okay? Next one. Yeah. So with that, I have come to the end of my session. And if you have any questions, so this is the time you can ask for. First slide. Yeah. Can you go back to the first slide, please? Yeah, thanks for reminding me. Yeah. So what do you notice here? A creative way in which a product is shown. And you should see a guerrilla method, how you can maximize the impact. For example, in the first picture, you see that the zebra crossings are shown as McDonald's, right? French fries. So if the person is walking on it, what will he remember? Suddenly he will feel hungry. He will go to the next nearest McDonald's. This is how you need to strike that need in the person. So this is more of a mental game also. You really need to look at the psyche of the person to understand them. How can I sell more to them? If you have noticed, during the festival season, there will be a lot of sales. Why do you think only during the festival they have sales? Because at that point of time, people are very relaxed. And they want to spend for their family. And when it comes to the family, nobody wants to take a shortcut, right? Everybody wants to do whatever they can do best for them. That is why, so you need to target it in such a way that it increases your sales. How many of you heard something called as arty sale? Have you seen arty sale? Yes? In our culture, right, arty is a period where you are not supposed to buy anything. Absolutely, you cannot buy anything. But now they have converted that into a marketing thing where you are going and buying in arty also. I don't know if you understood this analogy, but arty is a month which is supposed to be inauspicious, right? And you are not supposed to buy any good things. But now the marketing has converted that you can buy it in arty also. What I'm trying to tell you is, you can convert the mindset of the people over the period. It is not just happened one fine day, somebody started and it happened. I'll give you another example. When you think of December 25, what do you remember? Christmas, right? When you think of Christmas, what do you remember? Santa Claus? Right? But do you know the Santa Claus was never existed? It was created by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola created Santa Claus with the red dress and all that thing, who said he is bringing happiness to you. Along with the happiness, what did he bring? Coca-Cola. Right? That is how the perceptions are changed. So I wanted to highlight all that. For example, you can change small things to highlight your products. For example, a fire extinguisher. Right? It's a simple fire extinguisher. You might have noticed in any wall. But if you can make it something different, it will give you a second look. Right? That is how actually you should think when you are thinking of selling something. Okay? I think I have completed my assignment. Right? I don't know whether madam will be happy with that or she want to scold me. Okay. So any questions, please? I told you, you should call me Prashant. If there are no questions, there are only two possibilities. I know. One, you understood all. Second one is, which one is that? First one? Oh my God. You're making me happy. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions or you can reach me on my email. I'll be happy to work with you if you need any sort of guidance, especially if you have any specific areas where you need my help, I'll be happy to help. Yeah, with that, I think I have taken enough of your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the insightful and engaging session. To express our gratitude, I now invite Professor Dayanayak, HOD of AIML, to kindly present a token of appreciation to our esteemed speaker. Word of thanks is a formal expression of gratitude to all those who contributed to the program. Now, I request you team from 6th semester of AIML to kindly come forward.
Gratitude is the music of a thankful heart. As we come to the end of today's session on effective sales and marketing strategies for startups, it is my honor to propose the word of thanks. At the very outset, I would like to express my sincere and heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Prashant Chandra, Director of Omega Healthcare Management Services Private Limited, for sharing his highly informative insights and practical experiences with us. The session gave us a clear understanding of real-world sales and marketing strategies and offered valuable perspectives that will surely help us as aspiring professionals and future entrepreneurs. I extend my gratitude to Srinivas Institute of Technology for organizing this workshop and creating a platform for learning beyond textbooks. I also extend my thanks to all the faculty members and organizers for their efforts in making this workshop possible. Lastly, I thank all the participants for their active presence and engagement. With this, I conclude the word of thanks. Thank you.
I would again specially thank Sir here who has come all the way. He has a medical emergency, but still he has spent a lot of time with us, giving us, very nice insights on all these kind of things. It was really an enriching session for all of us. Thank you so much, sir.